Today's video is going to be mistakes by eBay sellers. This is pretty much targeted at newer sellers that are maybe learning the platform and kind of learning the ropes. I'm going to go ahead and tell you some common mistakes made by people who are just starting out an eBay business and maybe things you could do a little bit differently. So mistakes by eBay sellers, common mistakes. The first one is going to be bad photos. Your photos are the most important thing in your listing. A lot of my items, I take great photos and have a short listing description because the photos can pretty much explain everything about the item if you take good photos. eBay allows you 12 photos, so if you have the opportunity, you should be able to use all 12 of those photos. Sometimes it's not necessary. Like if I'm listing a pair of boots or something, I might only use 6, 7, or 8 photos because it's going to be hard to get 12 photos unless there's something unique about them or I'm trying to show some flaws in the item. And I see a lot of listings on eBay with bad photos or 1 or 2 photos. I believe that eBay's algorithm is going to favor listings with a lot of photos and really good photos. So make sure you're taking good photos. Another thing new eBay sellers do is they don't list enough. They get started off, they maybe get excited, and they go for a couple weeks and maybe list 10 or 20 items. And then they just kind of sit back and they wonder why things aren't moving along. They stop listing and they just kind of get that mindset, well, like, oh, I tried it and it's not working. Consistency is key on eBay. If you want to be successful at all, you have to be consistent. You can't list for a week and take 2 months off and then try to list for a week again. It just does not work that way. If you want to go into this with as a side hustle or as your full-time job, whatever you choose, you have to be consistent and you have to consistently list at least a few items a week, and if you can, a few items a day if you're full-time, definitely. One of the biggest problems I see with new sellers is poor customer service. They have kind of like this entitled attitude, like, you know, that eBay's a piece of crap because the people are so rude and like they can't understand why this person wants to return this or that, and they think everybody's trying to scam them. Look, you have to have good customer service. I've seen many people attempt this and fail because eBay will shut down their account or they'll get a few negative feedbacks and nobody's going to want to buy from you if your feedback is 89% positive or 93% positive. It's a really bad look for you. Customer service is paramount, and you have to answer every question on eBay as if eBay's gonna read that question, because sometimes if you have a problem with a difficult buyer, you're gonna have to escalate the case to eBay. Now, when they're doing their investigation, they're gonna read all the back and forth messages between you and that buyer. They're gonna see everything you've said. If the buyer's being an asshole and you're being reasonable, eBay's more likely to side with you. If the buyer's being an asshole and you're being condescending and an asshole back, you're gonna have a lot harder time getting that case resolved in your favor. So just write every message to every buyer as if eBay's gonna read it. Kill them with kindness. Treat people the way you want to be treated. The golden rule. I don't care how rude and condescending and mad they're being. You can cuss out your computer screen as you write them a nice professional message. Do not stoop to their level. You're above these kind of people that are gonna bring these problems about. And if it's something that's your fault, maybe you properly impact an item and it's damaged, you need to accept responsibility and do whatever you need to do to make that buyer happy and avoid a negative feedback. If you get a negative feedback, eBay does give you an option to revise that feedback, so make sure you take care of that option. I just had one the other day. I messaged the guy. He didn't give me a chance to make it right. He just immediately left negative feedback. So I just kindly messaged him and said, hey, can we resolve this issue and maybe you'll change your feedback after that? So now I'm going to go ahead and give him a full refund for the defective item, and then I'm going to send him a feedback revision request and get that feedback changed. I've done this I've probably had maybe like 40 negative feedbacks out of my thousands and thousands and thousands of sales, and I've probably got people to change like 30 of those negative feedbacks to neutral or positive. So if you work with your buyers, you can easily get feedback changed 3 out of 4 times roughly, so make sure you're doing that as well. Another common mistake by new sellers is not using sold comps. If you're looking up items on eBay, you need to know what they're worth. The most accurate way to do that is look up sold comps. In my last video, I showed an example how to do it. But real quick, if you haven't seen that video, just type whatever you're looking up in the eBay search bar, click search like you normally would. Now you're gonna see active listings, what people are asking for an item. That is not important. What is important is what things are actually selling for. So click filter, scroll down, click sold items. Once you do that, that, eBay is going to show you all the items that were actually sold. The price on the item will show up green if you did this correctly, and that's showing you that a buyer actually bought the item for that price. So that gives you an actual idea of what the market price for that item is sold for. There's been plenty of times where I've looked up an item and I've seen one listed for $300, and then I actually go to sold items and I see maybe 3 or 4 listed for $50 to $80. So now I know that this item's not worth $300 like the one active seller is asking. It's more likely worth $50 to $80 like the other 3 sellers that actually sold the item for that amount. That way you don't get caught up at a yard sale. You think something's worth a bunch of money. You might pay $50 for this item because Joe Schmo's got it listed for $300, but in reality the sale price is only going to be $50 to $80, and you never pay $50 for an item and sell it for $50 or $80. Obviously, we're not in the business to make pennies. We're trying to make good profits here. So you got to be smart with the way you look things up. Another problem with new sellers, they don't manage old listings. They just list a few things and then they wonder, they say eBay's broken and they quit. They make excuses, lame excuses. They don't work hard and they just give up. And you got to be diligent. You got to work hard. You got to be consistent. That means managing your old listings. If they're not selling, you need to drop the price. You need to run a markdown sale. You need to promote those listings. You need to do whatever it takes to get those things out of there. Maybe you need to take better pictures. Maybe you need to revise your description. All these things kind of tickle eBay's algorithm and help you with your product and maybe help you move it. So whenever you're revising items, it's going to give you a boost in search results, but make sure you're managing those old listings. The most important thing is the price. If it's not priced to sell, it's not going to sell. If an item's been sitting for 3 or 4 months and you got it for $50, maybe you should consider dropping it to $40 or $35. Get rid of it so you can use that capital to buy something that will flip faster and get you more profit. It doesn't do you any good to have an old item just sitting on eBay indefinitely and you're not managing it at all. Another problem that new sellers have is starting auctions improperly. If you're going to use an auction, you need to run it properly. If I have, say, like a computer screen or something, it doesn't have a high demand. This isn't a high demand product. There's probably a lot of competition. If I'm selling, like, say, a 5-year-old Dell computer screen, and you could see this if you looked up sold comps. Like, you'll see a lot of people that have sold the item, buy it now. Let's say it's averaging $75 with a buy it now price. So you'll see people selling it, buy it now for $80, selling it, buy it now for $70. And then you'll see the one guy that ran an auction and he got like $26. That's because that item should never be listed as an auction. The only items you're ever going to run as an auction are if they're super high demand products. Used iPhones, Apple computers, very rare collectibles, maybe like a Funko Pop or something like that, where it's gonna get the market value no matter what you start the auction at. But there's a lot of items that don't have a high demand and you cannot list them at an auction price because you're not going to get that much interest, or you're not going to get enough interest to drive the price up to what I would consider the market price. So to get fair market price for your item, if it's not in high demand, you have to list it as buy it now. Only use auctions when it's a high demand product, like I mentioned before. I'm trying to keep this video short because all my videos have been long-winded, so that's all I'm going to talk about today. But I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to make a lot more content like this. My main goal with this channel is to help other resellers grow and scale their business. I've been doing this for 8 years and I've been on this slow growth curve. I've learned a lot along the way. So if I can share that information with you guys, you could learn from my mistakes, maybe pick up a tip or two here or there. It makes me feel good and I'm just glad I could help. So like, share, subscribe. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for more content. Thanks. Peace.